name is Liz Partsch.
And I'm Rachel Wagoner,
And welcome to Farm and Dairy's Weekly Rundown.
where we give you an overview of the top stories, except we talk about them in depth now because that's a change I initiated.
Yes.
And that's what we're going to try to do. And we're also going to talk about some fun things. Do we want to talk about our weekends first, or do we want to save that to the end after we talk about slaughterhouses defiling the wells of rural people in the Farm Bill and labor reform?
I think the end. I feel like that'll, give a little happiness.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about hot dogs, but maybe not in the way you would think.
Okay. We're all over the place today, everyone.
That's your teaser.
Yeah. So, Rachel, you should kick us off because you introduced the slaughterhouse topic that probably felt like a punch in the face to some of us.
Yeah. Okay. So this is actually personally interesting to me. So this story, we're running it on the front page this week. It comes from Grist, which is a nonprofit newsroom. They cover climate stuff, but they also cover environmental things and like the little guy versus the big guy type things. So we are running this story from them, and it is about a lawsuit, a civil lawsuit filed by a couple people in Loganton, Pennsylvania, against Nicholas Meat, which is a large meat packing company. And when I say that, do you know what that means? It's a slaughterhouse. It's like a big, so we talk about, a few weeks ago, there was news about JBS shutting down a meat packing plant near Philly. And this slaughterhouse is like bigger than your local mom and pop shop, smaller than JBS's giant factory, but they still do a lot of, they process a lot of cows. And these cows go to...
Wasn't it like 2,000 a day? I don't know if that's right.
That sounds
it was
right.
Like a few thousand a day, though, at least.
I think that was the JBS one.
Oh, okay.
Although I can't recall.
You mixed up.
Oh, okay, here, wait. I have a number, actually. Because so why this was interesting to me is because I reported on this company in 2021 when I was still a reporter, because Nicholas Meat got in trouble with the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection for spreading food processing residuals to snow-covered ground, which spreading manure or FPRs to snow-covered ground is not allowed. It's a bad look because then when it melts off, it could just like basically run off into the rest of the environment. It doesn't really stick and get into the soil. And so before I wrote about this in 2021, I'd never heard of this company, and I'm assuming I heard about it because they put out a press release that was like, "Hey, we're not the bad guys here. We this is kind of just a misunderstanding." Which, boy, this is a really roundabout way to talk about it. So, Nicholas Meats, they process about 600 head of beef cattle daily under certified organic, grass-fed certified organic, natural grass-fed, natural Angus beef. Like their meat goes to become burger everywhere, pretty much under labels that you would recognize. And they take in cows from all over the state and across the eastern U.S. So it's a pretty big deal to have this market. However, whenever you're processing all of these animals, you're going to have waste. And when you're doing animals, the waste for them is like blood and guts, basically. Mm-hmm. So on a smaller scale, I can tell you, like when I go to our slaughterhouse where we get our cows processed, there's like garbage cans full of guts outside that get taken away. But if you're doing 600 a day, what do you do with all of that? So
yeah. Well, I'm curious, what does your like butcher do with that stuff?
I think they just have someone come pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I should know that.
Okay. That's interesting.
I know. I just noticed the bucket. I just noticed all the guts and I think, oh, that's kind of gross because it smells bad. Because have you ever been around, like if your dad killed a deer and gutted it? Like it's kind of a uniquely gross
Wow, now you're
smell.
opening up all these questions for me. Like, what does he do with? Now I'm going to be like, Dad, what do you do with
the guts?
What do you do with the guts when you get a deer?
I mean, pretty much like, so let's start from the bottom. Like small scale, if you have a deer, you're probably just going to throw your gut pile in the woods somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe where you, like hopefully in a good place where your dog won't roll in it, but maybe not. So
that's the hope. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like as you scale up, you have to do more things. But part of the problem, I guess, is that the DEP doesn't really have regulations around what to do with food processing residual waste. They just kind of have guidelines about it.
That's wild.
So fast forward, they have all this, there's this company, they have all this stuff they need to get rid of. And then in 2021, it became a problem because of like a bunch of different things happening at once. Like there was too much snow and they couldn't get into certain fields and they couldn't transport it away. So they got in trouble for spreading it on snow-covered ground. And the DEP basically said, stop spreading this waste. And because they couldn't spread any waste, it just was building up. So then they had to shut the plant down for like a week. And Nicholas Meats was basically like, this is a huge misunderstanding. And, we weren't doing this maliciously. And the way we're doing it is actually pretty environmentally sound because we are using shallow disc injection instead of just like hucking it out onto the ground. So anyway, that was the story then. That they shut this place down. It employs like over 300 people in this community. They'd taken all these beef and had to be shut down for weeks. That's a big deal. And then later that year, they invited the press and lots of state officials and local lawmakers to their facility. It was actually across the street from their facility because I drove all the way out there. It was like much farther away than I thought. But I went out there because I thought it was important. I went out there for a groundbreaking of their new wastewater treatment facility where they were going to handle all of their food processing and residual waste on site. And basically, they had a wastewater treatment plant and a biodigester. So they were going to handle it, and that was going to be good for everybody. Okay, so that's where my knowledge of Nicholas Meat comes in. And then I read the story by Grist, and I'm like, whoa, this actually explains what FPRs are. Because when I was reading about it back in 2021, they didn't say blood and guts. They just kept saying FPRs. So I remember looking up what it all could be, and the term includes a number of byproducts like wastewater from cleaning slaughter areas and rinsing carcasses, blood, bones, hide, hair, feathers, fruit and vegetable peels, seeds, shells, pits, or cheese whey, which is why it's food processed. Like it could be any food. It could be.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a lot, like eggshells, cheese, whey. Blood and
this
guts.
is just like a general definition. This isn't just like what Nicholas Meat. Okay.
Yeah. So that's why, and they weren't. Yeah, that's why they weren't saying blood and guts because who wants to say that about their own company? Like, yeah, we're a slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
Of course, we're.
It's like obvious, but people don't want to hear it.
Right. So okay, that leads us into Grist's story about this lawsuit, and it was kind of a. I keep using the word sexy, which is a weird thing that I like call a story that's kind of tantalizing. Like it has I tell you all the time to make a story sexy. Like if we're writing about the farm bill, make it sexy. How do you make the farm bill sexy? I don't know. We'll find out if you did. Yeah. But it was basically the title of the story was Blood in the Well. And they found this woman, her well water was contaminated and it was just kind of gross and brown. And then she had water testing done on it and found bovine DNA in the water, which like if you live in a rural area, finding E. coli in your water sources is not that crazy because it comes from like feces and everything poops. And if you live in the rural area and you have a well, like everything, you probably have a septic system. So like everything poops and also could get into your groundwater. So like finding that is not, whenever I read that there was E. coli in it, I was like, well, I mean, that's just kind of part of rural living and something. It's not cool, but it happens.
Yeah.
But bovine DNA, like I was like, that's crazy. So anyway, as the story goes, they file a lawsuit about this, and spoiler alert, they win.
Yay!
They win damages.
Yeah, they won.
They won. They were found liable for nuisance and trespass and awarded 4 plaintiffs a combined $145,000 in damages.
Wow, that doesn't seem that much.
No, it's not. And also, because it's just a civil case, it doesn't actually force this company to do anything differently.
Yeah, it's just like, here's money to fix the problem. Actually, not really to fix the problem. Here's the money. Here's money.
Here's money. Yeah, because the court's telling us
we're not
going to
fix the problem.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, and that skips a bunch of the middle stuff. So I mean, they were spreading, as I reported on, they spread this stuff on the ground. And by some estimates, they're spreading literally millions of gallons of waste every year.
Wow.
Millions of gallons.
That's crazy.
That's a lot of stuff. And some of the people testified during the trial that waste was over-applied. Like there was just like blood so deep that some of the farmers who had it applied to their fields couldn't get into work because it was just so covered with this waste.
Ew.
Which is pretty gross. Yeah. I mean, I think there's like an ick factor of it being like blood and guts.
I know, because it seems a bit different when it's just like manure. It's like, oh, it's manure, it's cow poop. But when it's like blood and guts.
Yeah. Is it actually
seems
worse? I don't
different.
know. I mean, I think it's all just like if there was manure on your field so thick that you couldn't get into work your fields, that would be pretty gross as well.
Yeah.
And is it just like a socially acceptable thing and not? I don't really know.
So then what do you do? What could the company do with this blood and guts?
That's what they tried to do with their wastewater treatment plant and their biodigester, which, as I said, they broke ground on in 2021. And it is now 2026.
And they still haven't completed it.
And they haven't completed it because they ran into what I would call local permitting issues. They ran into issues with their local municipalities where I think there's a bunch of things perhaps going on, but it could be summed up as local issues dealing with their municipalities.
But
so
also,
so construction has been halted for 2 years.
Yeah.
Even though they were trying to do better.
Yeah.
And then the local municipalities were like, well, you don't have this paperwork in order for some reason, or we changed our mind about this one thing.
Yeah, no, that does seem kind of like the municipality's fault.
Yeah.
But I'm curious though, like they're treating the blood and guts. Does that mean like what? It's treated and it's going to go back into like water or like, because eventually.
Well, there's wastewater too. So like when you have a slaughter, I mean, you're hosing down the areas that you're slaughtering in.
Mm-hmm.
So that water has to go somewhere. So I'm guessing they're treating it on site. And then also the biodigester would be where the blood and guts would get fermented basically and turned into methane gas, I'm guessing, and turned into energy.
Oh, but that's cool.
Yeah. So if you read this story as just a person who's reading Grist, which is you're a person reading a climate nonprofit newsroom, you're probably thinking, well, that's really gross, an overstep of whatever. But then now that you're reading it from a farm and dairy perspective, it's more complicated.
Yeah.
Also because I reported on this. So anyway, we're running that story in the front, and it talks about all of the things, it tells you all the gross details, which I have just basically summarized in here. But I mean, that's all you really need to know. But the story it's a little complex because this company is sort of trying to do right. And they didn't respond to Grist at all. Whenever they did this story, they didn't reply to any request for comment.
Mm-hmm.
And so like they got this, the lawsuit was decided, and now what changes? Nothing. There is some legislation to regulate FPRs, to regulate how and where they are spread.
Yeah.
But it's just hanging out in the Pennsylvania legislature.
That's the wild thing for me is that like there's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, this is funny that we're having this back to back with last podcast episode because there's also nothing for the Ohio River, which is like one of the largest, if not, I think the largest river in the country.
The Mississippi.
The Mississippi. It's
That's
the second
okay.
largest, right? I don't know. Whatever Paul
Don't
said,
quote me
it's
on
a
that.
humongous river with like millions of people that rely on it for water. And it is, no, I think the thing was, it was the only river, one of the only rivers that's not protected in the United States. There's no legislation protecting it, which is wild.
Yes.
So I don't know. It's just kind of crazy that we have all this lack of legislation specifically in our region for things that actually pretty much all tie back to water quality.
It is the third largest river in the U.S. by discharge volume and the largest tributary of the Mississippi River, according to Google's AI results. So we can decide how much water I just wasted by asking that. Sorry.
It's okay, Rachel. You do, when you use Google, you do it anyway. Everybody does. Unfortunately, Google doesn't give you a choice anymore about whether you want to use AI or not. So
there you go.
Anyway, moving on to off of that. But yeah, so wow, what a crazy story, Rachel.
Yeah.
That must have been wild for you to read that after reporting on it.
It was really fascinating. I was just excited that I was like, oh my gosh, someone else knows about Nicholas Meats. And then I read the story and I was like, oh my gosh. Like, wow. I wish I had known about this lawsuit to report on it, but now I'm editor and I don't do all of those things. And the contributing writer for Grist who wrote about it did a great job. It's just a fascinating. It's one of those stories where you think there's like a bad guy, but there's really not, because this company employs a lot of people, and should they be contaminating people's groundwater with their spreading of waste? Also, no.
Yeah.
And should people be afraid to like talk about it because they don't want to talk bad about this company that employs like the entire town? Because I mean, this factory comes out of the middle of nowhere. Like you go up on 80 and you get off an exit and then you drive a little ways on this road. And there's just not, I mean, it's just nice. It's a mountain. There's mountains everywhere and there's houses and stuff. And then there's just like this big factory. That's a slaughterhouse. It's enormous. It's got like the not smokestacks, but it's got, I mean, it looks like a little factory. It's kind of crazy. So it's a big deal. And, but yeah, there's no, I mean, I think they're trying. It's just, everything sucks.
Yeah.
It's a case of everything sucks here.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's talk about, is the Farm Bill more?
Oh, I don't know. I'm calling this our legislative rundown for the week because we have 2 stories in the paper this week, guys, giving you these legislative updates that farmers might care about. So to start, we're going to start with the H2A program. We're going to see some changes could see some changes that will ease dairy labor shortages through a recently introduced Securing Agriculture's Workforce Act of 2026 that is introduced by our man, U.S. House Agriculture Committee Chairman Glenn Thompson, who's at the Ag Progress Days every single year, talking about the Farm Bill, ironically. So the bill would eliminate the seasonal stipulation that has long left dairy farmers unable to use the program, as dairy farmers require, year-long labor, and the program only allows farms to hire seasonal workers for up to 8 to 10 months. So really the only people that can benefit from it now are like crops, like apples and seasonal crops.
Yeah.
Christmas trees, things like that. So dairy farmers in particular are also being hit really hard by lack of farm labor. So according to Dennis Rodenbaugh, president and CEO of the Dairy Farmers of America, in the past 20 years, 60%, which is over 38,000 U.S. dairy farms have closed, which he credits in part because of farm labor shortages. That was the statistic he provided. Moreover, domestic farm labor in general is hard to come by. According to American Farm Bureau Federation President Zippy Duvall, only 182 domestic applications were submitted for roughly 415,000 advertised farm labor positions in 2025. So that's a crazy stat.
That's not good.
That's really bad, yeah. So he said in a quote after giving that statistic, if Americans want to apply for these jobs, we have no other choice but to depend on the H2A program, is what he said. So the bill would also, so in addition to it kind of allowing more year-round labor, the bill would also change how wages calculated through the H2A program, something called the adverse effect wage rate. Because in the past, this wage rate has been calculated by the USDA's Farm Labor Report, which has led to a wage rate that has outpaced general inflation by over 70% since 2010.
So they're getting more than they should?
Basically. I mean, when I've talked to...
It's requiring farms to pay more than
like
they
every
would
single
have
year.
If they were just getting these jobs from the market of the general, like the job market where they are.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, when I've done a little bit of reporting on the H2A program in the past, and when I have talked to just seasonal, like an apple farm or an apple orchard, they've mentioned just like every year they get less and less H2A workers because it becomes more and more expensive to be able to hire them. They just can't afford to do it.
Okay.
Which is like one
because
of the only ways
they're
they're able to hire
by the
people.
feds instead of like, oh, I'm hiring this person and I decide what I pay them because it's through a federal program.
Yeah.
They have to do what the government says.
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of how they're like, because they're using the Farm Labor Report every single year, what they're basing the wage off of. Because recently in October, the U.S. Department of Labor did change this. They calculate it on state-level wage data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, Occupational Employment and Wage Statistics, which has gotten a lot of praise even from the American Bureau Federation or whatever, that organization. And the
Farm
bill,
Bureau. You're saying Bureau right, and I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. I've been saying, this podcast has led me to practice, guys. I struggled with that word before then. Anyway, but the bill kind of further cements these changes, kind of backs up this change of like how the wage rate will be, created. And it also sets limits on a wage rate fluctuations year to year. So instead of like every single year, the wage is increased by 4.5%. There's like a cap of like, it can't go above 3.5% each year.
So this law would codify these changes, like it would put it into the law.
Yeah. And the reason why the adverse effect wage rate I think was created originally was to protect, to allow farm workers to have fair rights, which I think is obviously still important, but it just become unaffordable for farmers. So
right,
it seems like this is a way, hopefully, to balance maybe that out. But anyways, this is all just proposed legislation, just to let everybody know. This is still in the House Agriculture Committee. It hasn't made even the House yet.
I know when I saw the emails about it, because anytime anything happens, all the farm groups send emails about it. I thought maybe something had actually happened, but proposed legislation. I mean, it's great. It's a step in the right direction to get it down on paper and to get it getting moved into the system. But
which is why we're writing about it. Hopefully it continues because, I mean, I think it's just important that we wrote about it because we've been hearing this is just a problem that's been said over and over and over again with this program. So good news there. More good news, I guess. The U.S. Senate Committee on Agriculture, Nutrition, and Forestry released its long-awaited draft farm bill on June 23rd.
Wait, is this the button?
Yeah! Yes, and for people that don't know, the last farm bill was passed in 2018, and it's been extended 3 times, which has caused just really outdated farm policies, underfunded programs for farmers.
Wait, let's talk for a second. What were you doing in 2018 when the last farm bill was passed?
I was a junior. No, I was a senior. Fall 2018, I was a senior in high school.
I was working at one newspaper, and I switched jobs to another newspaper, and then I got pregnant with my son, who is now 7.
Wow. So basically,
I literally had 2 kids since the farm bill. I have had my 2 children since the farm bill was passed.
Oh, no. I have
and they're both potty trained, and they're both like walking and doing human
and
stuff.
talking and like full humans
So
now.
just to give you perspective on how long it's been.
No, I graduated high school and college and got a full-time job since.
And now you're here talking about the farm bill.
And now I'm talking about the farm bill when I didn't even know what the farm bill was in 2018. Crazy. It's literally been 10 years, like almost 10 years.
Yeah, basically, because, when they were talking about it, the process to make these things happens, like it starts years before, in theory, except for this time, which things got really messed up. But I
guess COVID probably messed things up a little, but I also feel like that's giving COVID too much credit.
Yes, exactly. No, these are just, I'll keep my opinions tame about the fact that they haven't done this yet, but we're making some progress.
We'll just say that every single year I've attended Ag Progress Days, which is 3 years.
Right.
I've heard about the farm bill every single year, and yet it doesn't get passed.
GT Thompson has been like, we're working on it, buddy.
Every year. Yep, he's there every year. And kudos to him for like still working on it. So hopefully this year we'll have a better idea. Ag Progress Days, they'll be like, it's coming. Anyway, so what is in the farm bill?
This is a step in the right direction. Okay, so what is in the Senate version?
So the Senate version, ups loan payments for farmers, like it usually does, increases loan payments, expands funding for farm and conservation programs. But what it doesn't, so what's really important is what it doesn't include, which is the excludes provisions included in the House draft bill, which was passed on April 30th, including the Save Our Bacon Act, which would prohibit states from establishing livestock production standards beyond their borders. So that act seeks to overturn California's Prop 12, which was passed in 2018, and similar laws that require strict animal welfare and confinement standards on pork, veal, and shell egg products sold in the state. So those that support the exclusion say that if enacted, this sweeping premonition could jeopardize years of hard-won state-level protections for farm animals. That's what the Animal Legal Defense Fund had said about, the Save Our Bacon Act, what it could do if it was passed. Others are disappointed, including the American Farm Bureau Federation and the National Pork Producers Council, who say protecting interstate commerce from a patchwork of state laws. That's what that Save Our Bacon Act does. It protects interstate commerce and it protects farmers. The National Pork Producers Council has been pretty vocal about the fact that it's really hurting a lot of markets for farmers, these state laws. So the Senate bill also doesn't include year-long E15 standards, but the American Farm Bureau Federation President Duvall is hopeful that E15 standards will be established, as it has received pretty wide support from President Donald Trump. and USDA Secretary Brooke Rollins. But yeah, it was not included. So those are the things that weren't included. To read more about what the bill does include, I'm including like all these fundings, REAP funding and equip funding.
It does basically a lot of the same things every time it's re-upped.
Yeah.
Which is kind of why it's so complicated and boring, because it just like approves. Man, I'm missing the word is gone now. Like the most timely rates for things. That's the one of the complaints I've heard is that these conservation programs, like the cost sharing ones through the NRCS, are based on a lot of them will cost share, so they'll pay up to X dollar amount or something, and it's supposed to be around 50% maybe or whatever, 75% something. But they'll pay up to a certain dollar amount based on what things should cost. And as we all know, things have gotten more expensive since 2018.
Yeah.
So those numbers are just not doing it anymore. And that's just one of those things that should have been basically automatically adjusted whenever a new farm bill was passed. But we've been waiting now for 3 years.
Yeah. So that's what most of the farm bill is. I will say there are some new things that they were pretty excited about.
There's a lot of,
SNAP. Well, yeah, SNAP was.
There's a lot of food and nutrition stuff.
The two things I think that did get a lot of praise were, I actually have it here. The bill allows third-party non-federal providers to become certified technical service providers by the Secretary of the USDA, a non-federal certifying entity or agency for the purpose of providing timely technical assistance for conservation programs. That received a lot of support because that's something new that wasn't allowed before.
Is a thing as a small farmer who is involved with these programs or trying to be involved with them.
Yeah, that's going to be really helpful.
That seems like a good change.
Yeah, and then fertilizer industry also got a big boost. Because the USDA is going to hire would hire a full-time crop input economist to collect data and research on crop import markets and require the agency to produce a report on the U.S. fertilizer industry, which might be kind of significant in a way.
Like, why haven't they been?
Yeah, why haven't they been? And also with all the stuff going on with the fertilizer recently with the Iran war, that might be
important.
That might be kind of important. So there are some new things in the bill besides just like the general, like we need to update this.
Yeah.
That are interesting. So hopefully it gets passed though, because
literally, and I mean, not saying literally anything at this point, but just, I actually am saying that literally anything. Just get it done. Stop fighting over.
Yeah.
This is my editorial opinion as a journalist, not the view of your story, which is just a basic overview of things. But let's just get her done.
It's necessary. Yeah. They just farmers need this.
Yeah, quit fighting over little nitpicky things and trying to add in stuff that doesn't really belong just to get it passed along.
Yeah.
All right. End editorial.
Well, I will say the draft farm bill moves on to the Senate Agriculture Committee, which is set to be reviewed now between 4th of July and the August break. So hopefully there's progress there.
So we might be writing more about it, maybe, if anything cool happens.
Yes. Cool. That is the newsy part of the podcast. That's the news we have. Real quick shout out to the auction section, the auction cover I wrote. Please read the story. There's a really cute cafe that moved to Johnstown, Pennsylvania. If you don't know what Johnstown, Pennsylvania is, it's a former steel town, Rust Belt town.
They had the flood.
They had the Johnstown, actually 3 major floods. The big one that most people remember
because the dam broke because of
South Fork Funning and Fishing Club. Because Henry Clay Frick is a villain. Yes, I will say that on this podcast. Henry Clay Frick is a villain, killed thousands of people and got away with it. Anyway, yeah, they have the flood. But anyways,
now they have a cat cafe.
So they have this really cute cat cafe called Rusty Cat Cafe. But what's really unique about it, it's not just any cat cafe. They're seeking to address a big animal control crisis problem in the county, because the city of Johnstown lost its animal control contract recently, and they just have cats and dogs getting run over, and just like litters of cats in neighborhoods, and it's a big problem. So through this organization, they partnered with the Rusty Cat Cafe to have these cats adoptable at this cafe. Really cute story. You should check out the photos. If you can't tell, I had a lot of fun writing this because I also love Johnstown. And like a lot of Rust Belt towns, it's kind of unique to see something interesting come into a town like this. So
can I have you go back one moment? The
Sure.
cats and dogs are they, the way you made it sound, it's like Johnstown is overrun with stray cats and dogs, and there's so many that they're being like run over by all the cars, it's not that extreme, but that is like one of the bad things is that there are so many without homes that they're like kind of a nuisance almost.
I mean, I personally haven't run over a dog in Johnstown yet, thankfully.
This conversation is
Yeah.
taking a strange turn.
Yeah, no, no,
I wanted to see clarity on that because I laughed and then I thought that seems inappropriate.
That's what one of the residents had said to me, that mostly the dogs are the ones who get run over. And then the cats are just like in literal like litters around the city.
Ugh.
And yeah, I mean, like part of this thing that they do is blitzes, where so the organization that works with the Rusty Cat Cafe is called Jaws. They take in foster cats basically. And part of what they do is they conduct blitzes with the city of Johnstown to cat trap and basically trap and neuter these cats that can't be domesticated. So that way they can't, and they release them back into the same neighborhood so they can't reproduce. So it's kind of stopping the reproduction problem. So I guess what I'm saying is this story is way more than just the Rusty Cat Cafe. It's a whole like animal control crisis effort that I think a lot of rural communities might be able to relate to, because I don't think it's just Johnstown specific. I think there's a lot of like rural communities that are overrun by animals that don't have homes.
Don't have good homes.
Or don't have
they are
good
left
homes.
to wander the streets, which is not safe.
Yeah, because some people just don't deserve to have animals and then just leave them, and like don't know how you could do that. But
you got away with talking about this story much more than
I know. Rachel said not to talk about it, but
I did explicitly. I said we're not talking about the cats.
But you're the one who started asking questions.
I know.
All right.
It's because, I have a confession to make, and I have wanted to make this confession for a while, that I'm a cat person now. And if anyone has known me outside of this, I've been like a cat hater openly. I just did not understand them. I've also been allergic my whole life. So if like I'm around cats for too long, I get like the wheezy and the teary eyes and the whole thing. But then I have a daughter now who loves every animal, and she loves cats. And so I first started out by getting some barn cats from a rescue that takes feral cats, fixes them and vets them. And then if they can't be homed, they find a barn home for them where they can live safely outside with like a job.
Yeah.
So I got 3 cats that way, and their names are Elsa, Anna, and Charlotte.
Elsa, Anna. Yes. Wonder where those names came from.
Yeah. And so we had those ones that are just, I was like, okay, I will give my daughter her like cat fix with the barn cats. And then at our house, which is not on the farm, we had a stray coming, and it was eating our garbage. And he was also kind of just like hanging out around our house. So my husband got a live trap and put some tuna in it. And literally on the first night that he had the trap out, the cat was in it. And then so I wanted to just do the responsible thing and at least get the cat fixed so that it didn't make more cats and create this more of a problem. But then I thought, okay, well, we'll get it fixed and then we'll kind of see what happens. We'll go from there. I didn't really have a plan. And then my husband got in a dirt bike accident and he was laid up for a long time. So then I was the one taking care of the cat and the household and all the animals and stuff. So
Is this Shadow?
This is Shadow.
Okay.
Yeah, my son named him Shadow because he's black. He's actually named after the black hedgehog from Sonic, who's very fast.
Oh, really?
And why I thought he was fast. I don't know. When you have kids name things, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
I like that name though.
No,
Shadow.
it makes a ton of sense. So he got fixed and we found out he was a boy and he's only 2, I guess. However, they figured that out. And I had just kept him in a cage in our basement while he recovered from his operation. And then I let him out just to like give him more space in the basement. And then he just like didn't leave. And then because Chris was at home, my husband was at home recovering from his accident. He was there a lot. So then he like tamed Shadow. And now Shadow is super, super friendly. And he's just so funny. And I love him so much. And now I'm a cat person. And my cousin I have cousins who are cat people. So they're like, yeah, Rachel, come on. Like finally
so
caught up
Shadow
with us.
is the one that really kind of did it.
Yeah, she was like, you didn't need a cat. You needed like your cat. And this cat like selected you, which I don't always believe in that like woo-woo stuff. But I really do feel like he like just, he came to us and he's our cat. So That's why I really liked your cat story because
Yeah.
it was way more. When you said cat cafe, I was like, all right, Liz, whatever, that's fine.
Just some cute story.
Yeah. But it was about so much more than just like, here's these cats that are adoptable. And I thought, okay, well, honestly, as my cynical, skeptical self, I was like, this is just some scam to get people to buy overpriced cats and overpriced coffee at a cute little cafe. But in fact, it is not that at all. And it's so nice and what it's doing for this community, like broadly, and how it lets people like hang out with the cats kind of in a natural environment, not like when you go to the Humane Society and they're all kind of in their own kennels. Like you get to just see them doing cat stuff and see which one vibes with you.
Yeah, no, like the general manager there actually told me that the cats literally pick you. It's like it in a way, and that's actually honestly kind of how cats are in general. Is that they do seem to just pick their human, but yeah, no, I mean it is really great. It's also cheaper to buy from the cat cafe, I would argue, because they already spay and neuter these cats.
They're ready to go.
They're ready to go because this organization has done such great work to prepare the
and
cats.
They're socialized too, right? Like because they're sort of,
yeah. I mean, they definitely, yeah. I feel like they are, yeah, in a way, because
compared with like a street cat that you find.
Yeah, no, they only give like cats that could be domesticated to the cat cafe because there are feral cats that they'll just release back because they just recognize like this isn't a cat that's ever gonna like want
so they just
this.
fix them and make sure they're not gonna make more cats.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I mean it's really great. I encourage everybody, even if you live out of state, to go and visit Johnstown, this cat cafe, because it really has, from what these employees told me, it's brought like a lot of people from to Johnstown. Which I, in my life, would have never heard people being like, oh, I'm going to go to Johnstown for a visit. Like, if you go to Johnstown, you're probably going there because you have relatives there or you live there. It's not, I mean, maybe you go for the history because there is a lot of really cool history, a lot of history in Johnstown. But in general, you're not going to catch the average person being like, I'm going to go downtown Johnstown. And I think this is part of a movement there to help the downtown area. I think it's a very beautiful area, and you should check it out. So,
is the Johnstown Chamber of Commerce secretly paying you to do these stories?
No. My interest
You're not
is
a plant,
purely
an industry plant.
I am a plant for myself in the fact that I have family there, and I've grown up there practically my whole life. And I see how pretty it is, and I want it to be a little better. It's kind of like what you said to me when talent leaves, and that's what the employee. This is the last thing I'll say on this, and then we'll stop talking about the cat cafe. But something that really hit me was the general manager. He told me that he grew up in Johnstown, but he left during the pandemic, and he came back. No, he came back during the pandemic. He lived in California.
Oh, okay. So like it brought him. It was one of those.
The pandemic brought him back.
Okay.
But then he thought, then he decided just to stay because he thought, I want to. If everybody leaves, Johnstown's never going to be. It's not going to change, and he wants to be part of this change now. And I just thought that was really sweet because I feel like that's something that you've said to me several times doing stories about the communities you write about. If people just continue to leave, things don't change. You need people to stay and invest in the community. So I think that's what, there's a lot to this story, and I think that's also kind of an undertone of this story.
Man, you just we're talking about the cats, and I'm going to make it about everything and make it so. All right, you earned it.
Thank you.
You really earned it.
Wow.
Wait, one last thing. I promised talk of hot dogs.
Yes.
So Paul Rowley, who is usually in this seat, is not here because he's on vacation this week. So I'm filling in. And in our office, Paul is he's the spirit of the office. He's kind of the small talk banter guy who fills in the time periods when you are busy at your desk.
Yeah, it was really quiet today, like unusually.
It was really quiet, which
eerily.
Liz mentioned, and I offered some small talk. But my small talk is like kind of weird because then I wanted to talk about Thomas Jefferson because I've been listening to a podcast and reading about our founding fathers. And we're not going to talk about Thomas Jefferson here. But then I said I was also thinking about hot dogs and what they're made of and how you make them and how they become like pre-cooked. And you did not ever think about what was in a hot dog before.
No, I did know that they were like cooked.
Yeah, because you could just eat one out of a package.
Yeah, because that's what I've heard. Even though I don't usually like to do that, I'd rather just cook it a little.
Not even as a kid?
Really? No, I never.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
as
maybe
a kid, I would just eat them like not raw, but just from the fridge, which now I find so disgusting.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's cooked, but like.
It is.
Yeah.
You could just eat it.
But yeah, I don't know.
Try it. Go home and try it.
Yeah. I don't know. That does seem like something experience you have to try as a kid because after you're not a kid, it's
Unless
just
you're
gross.
like really drunk.
I mean, I might have probably done it as a kid, just don't remember because I did go on a lot of camping trips.
It's a little different taste because it's.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make this a gourmet thing. We weren't talking about uncooked hot dogs, but we were talking about the process by which because it's a sausage.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about beef sausages because at our farm, we sell beef directly to consumers. And I'm always thinking about different new products we can do. And our butcher makes us sausages, makes us lamb and sheep sausage, which is really good. But then I was thinking about, could they make a beef sausage? Is there any traditional sausages made from beef? Because most are made from pork.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking about this as I was trying to sleep one night, and then I did not ask my husband about it, but I thought about like engaging him in conversation while he was trying to sleep to talk about how hot dogs are made.
Yeah.
And instead I chose to engage you and anyone else who was within earshot about the hot dogs. And I still don't really know how I didn't look it up. I'm probably just going to ask the butcher. Whenever I pick stuff up, like, could you do this, or what would you need to do this for me? And like, what makes a hot dog a hot dog? Is it the seasonings? Is it the fact that it's pre-cooked? Is it the size and shape? This feels weird doing this, but like the
okay, see,
is it because it's a skinny long?
Okay, for starters, I think the hot dogs are boiled. Because to me, like, it doesn't look cooked when you see a hot dog, but it is. And to me, that
like it doesn't
gives
have
boiled.
grill marks on it.
Yeah.
So it was,
I think it's, I don't know for certain.
Or steamed.
Or steamed. Like just some type of method like that with water. And then the more interesting question to me is what makes a hot dog a hot dog? And I think it has to be this is the philosophical question. It can't be the shape, because what is the difference between a hot dog and a sausage?
Well, okay, yeah. And like breakfast sausages are long and skinny typically.
Mm-hmm.
Although some aren't. But like when I
maybe
think of
a hot dog
sausage,
is the shape of it, but also it's like
it's the combination of things.
It's the combination of like you're gonna put it in a bun and you're gonna have it at a cookout.
But
like,
I would eat any sausage that way.
Okay, see then it
has to be the seasonings, but then what are the seasonings? Like if you were to describe the taste of a hot dog, what would you say? I don't know how I would describe it.
I mean, just meat that I don't know.
Like other sausages, you
meat
could say
that
like,
I can't figure out.
It's kind of spicy, or it kind of has like you would have ways to describe it.
Like Italian sausage, I could describe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a bratwurst, you could probably
or like
describe.
deer kibasi, I could describe.
Yeah. How do you describe a hot dog? This is I want the readers to.
I could describe a hot dog as
I'm going to think about this all night.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm going to keep thinking about it.
Yeah. Well,
go home and ask your okay, this is your assignment, everyone, is to ask your family and to think yourself, what makes a hot dog a hot dog? And if you have a really good, solid answer and you're just like, oh, these simpletons, of course, this is what makes a hot dog a hot dog. Or you can tell us how they're cooked. I didn't look it up because I wanted this to be like one of those old-timey conversations where you just like kind of blindly guess at things.
Yeah.
And you don't just automatically go to your phone and like, oh, this is how hot dog's made. But no, what makes a hot dog in your mind? What makes a hot dog a hot dog?
Maybe we should have like a Facebook like questionnaire.
I will.
What makes a hot dog a hot dog?
And they'll be like, what in the hell are they
This
doing
is a farming
at Farm
paper.
and Dairy?
Yeah.
Hot dogs are made out of every kind of animal, basically.
We're asking the important questions here.
Yeah.
Which is what makes a hot dog a hot dog.
This is a weird way to round this up because we started out by talking about the butcher that like spreads all the blood and guts, and like hot dogs are people think they're made out of like just every kind of
meat. Yeah.
Food residual that is like left on the slaughterhouse floor, which
maybe we need to like feature like a hot dog manufacturer,
like
to
a
really
hot
clear
dog
this
company?
up. Yeah, hot dog company.
Okay, it's your assignment.
All right.
So you always do this. You always are like, someone should
write
write about this. And then
right.
It turns out that you were
All
the
right.
one who writes about these things.
A few weeks from now, guys, we're going to be talking about the same subject and have some more answers for you guys.
That'd be a good, like, fair. This is a good time. This is hot dog season.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right. This is when I eat the hot dogs the most, like but on a campfire, cooking a glizzy, You've never heard that term glizzy?
I've heard it, but I've been trying to avoid knowing it. But now you've brought it to me.
I named it. Yeah, a glizzy, a hot dog, same thing.
Yeah, the Sheets has there's There's some place now that has a.
Oh,
glizzy.
really?
Maybe
I
it's
just
gecko.
always associate glizzy with like it's on a stick over a campfire.
Is this a new thing, or is this a thing I just didn't know about? Like how mountain pies and hobo pies and mini pies are different.
I don't know if it's a new thing. I just like know that this is like what my friends call. Like I'll call like my friends will call a hot dog at a cookout. But if we're on like have hot dogs at a campfire and we're cooking them over a fire, it's a glizzy. That's just like what my friends do. But I don't know if it's like actually a thing.
Okay. Also, everyone chime in. What do you call a hot dog?
Yeah.
If you say wiener, that's probably fine, but I don't approve of that.
Yeah. Glizzy, wiener, hot dog, Frankenfurt,
good
sausage. That'd be weird though. That's incorrect. You can't call a hot dog a sausage.
It's too general.
Yeah. Because a sausage, actually, if you think about it, a sausage
it's the whole
is
thing,
a hot dog. Like this is
meat.
Sausage, and then hot dog is like a sausage.
Yeah, but like what family, what tree does it? What branch of the sausage tree does it come off of? And this is the small talk that I bring to the newsroom is, I mean, we also talked a lot about Thomas Jefferson and is he good or bad or all of his many traits and things, which I was, yep. So anyway, hot dogs.
Yeah. I think we're going to end it here because this is definitely the longest podcast we've ever made. Anyway, thanks for joining us, everyone. To read all the full stories, you should go to farmandairy.com. Or you should find a local newsstand wherever they may be and pick up a print paper for yourself. Or maybe you're really cool and you already have it delivered to your house.
Or you can subscribe also at our website, or you can call Mike. Just find our number and ask for Mike, and he'll hook you up.
Yeah.
And he'll be mad when he hears me saying this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love you, Mike.
Yeah, we do appreciate you, Mike. All right.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Peace out.
Bye.